The studio lights glowed softly across the stage, casting a warm shimmer that wrapped the space in quiet anticipation. The audience buzzed with excitement as cameras began to roll. Lisa sat gracefully on her chair, that signature radiant smile lighting up her face. But inside, her heart was racing faster than she wanted to admit. It had been years since she and Jungkook had appeared together on the same stage. Something about today felt strangely personal, like a page turning back to a chapter she thought was long closed. Jungkook walked in from backstage, calm and humble as always. He gave a small wave to the crowd, his warm smile making the audience cheer louder. Lisa looked up, and for a fleeting second, their eyes met. It was brief, almost accidental, yet it sent a quiet warmth through her chest, something she hadn't felt in a long time. The host greeted them both with a teasing grin, joking about their long-awaited reunion. Lisa laughed, the sound light and genuine, and she covered her mouth shyly. The camera zoomed in just in time to catch the exact moment she looked at Jungkook again, still smiling without realizing it. As the interview began, the energy in the room shifted. They spoke about their old collaboration years ago, the dance performance that went viral, the shared rehearsals that blurred day and night, and how much had changed since then. Lisa kept glancing at Jungkook whenever he spoke. There was something grounding about his calm tone, his thoughtful pauses, the way he never rushed his words. He reminded her of something simple and real, a kind of peace she'd almost forgotten. A man who listened more than he spoke, a man who made others feel seen. The host turned to Lisa with a playful smirk. "So, Lisa, what was your favorite thing about working with Jungkook back then?" She hesitated, pretending to think, then smiled softly. "His kindness," she said. "He treated everyone with respect, whether it was the director, the camera crew, or the backup dancers. It never mattered who you were. He saw everyone the same way." The audience clapped, and Jungkook lowered his gaze slightly, humble as ever. "Well," he replied gently, "Lisa never stopped encouraging everyone, even when she was exhausted. Her laughter kept the team alive." Lisa laughed again, the sound carrying through the studio like sunlight. But behind those smiles was something deeper, a quiet gratitude, a kind of healing that no one in the audience could see. The truth was, Lisa had been through difficult months before that show loneliness hidden behind the noise of fame. She'd been trying to find joy again after a long silence. When the invitation came to appear with Jungkook, she had almost declined. Yet now, sitting under those warm lights, she realized how grateful she was to have said yes. For the first time in months, she was laughing without forcing it. As the live show went on, fans online noticed her radiant energy. Clips of her laughter spread quickly across Twitter and TikTok, but what no one knew was that behind every smile, a quiet story of healing was unfolding in real time. Jungkook's gentle presence wasn't just a reunion, it was a reminder that kindness could still rebuild the broken parts of the soul. When the final segment began, the host asked both of them to share one lesson life had recently taught them. Jungkook spoke first. "Never underestimate the power of small good deeds," he said calmly. "You never know who might need them most." Lisa nodded, feeling her throat tighten. "For me," she said softly, "it's learning not to hide your joy when it finally returns." The audience clapped again, but Jungkook noticed the shimmer in her eyes. He gave a small, knowing nod. When the cameras stopped and the lights dimmed, Lisa turned to him quietly. "Thank you," she whispered. "Not for the show, but for the reminder that kindness still mattered." Jungkook smiled gently. "You never lost your light, Lisa. You just forgot where you left it." And for the first time in months, Lisa walked out of a studio not feeling empty but full of something she had been missing for so long: peace. The next morning, Lisa woke up earlier than usual. Sunlight streamed softly through her window, and for a while, she just lay still, replaying the moments from the night before. The laughter, the warmth, the way Jungkook had looked at her when she spoke, everything felt strangely alive again. Her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Messages from friends, journalists, and fans flooded in. Most of them mentioned how bright she had looked during the show. People were posting clips online with captions like, "Lisa's joy is contagious," and "Their chemistry feels timeless." She smiled as she scrolled, until one comment made her pause. "Sometimes, you can see healing in someone's eyes." Her throat tightened. It was true. She wasn't the same quiet, broken version of herself she had been weeks ago. Something had changed. Maybe it was the laughter. Or maybe it was Jungkook's quiet kindness. That evening, the producer called. Lisa, the response has been amazing. The audience wants more. We're thinking of a special reunion segment next week. You and Jungkook together again. She hesitated, surprised. Next week? People loved your energy, he said. It's rare to see that kind of connection anymore. Lisa smiled faintly. Let me check my schedule, she replied politely, but deep down, she already knew her answer. She wanted to see Jungkook again, not because of the cameras, but because something about being near him felt grounding. Across town, Jungkook sat quietly in his small garden, feeding the stray cats that always found their way to him. His assistant showed him clips from the show on his phone. He smiled softly as he watched Lisa laugh. He remembered how withdrawn she had seemed before the cameras started rolling, how quiet she had been in rehearsals. Seeing her joyful again felt like watching spring return after a long winter. He picked up his phone and texted her. It was really good seeing you again, Lisa. You looked genuinely happy last night. A minute later, her reply appeared. Thanks, Jungkook. It was good being happy again. Days passed, and the second show came quickly. Lisa arrived early at the studio, feeling that nervous flutter again. Jungkook arrived a little later, dressed in a simple black suit, and that calm expression that always seemed to make the world slow down. When he saw her, he smiled. Ready to make people smile again? She laughed. Only if you promise not to steal the spotlight this time. The show began, this time with more personal questions about trust, friendship, and what it meant to stay grounded in a world that never stops watching. Lisa spoke about moments of exhaustion, of finding strength in the people who reminded her who she really was. Jungkook added softly that true kindness isn't loud, it's consistent. Then, the host surprised them both by playing a short video montage of their past collaboration. The dance, the laughter, the rain scene that fans still remembered. The audience clapped, but Lisa felt her throat tighten. She looked at Jungkook. His eyes met hers, calm and understanding. As the cameras cut to commercial, she leaned closer. You always make things feel safe, she whispered. He smiled faintly. Maybe because I know how it feels when things don't. Her heart ached at the quiet honesty of his words. For a moment, the studio disappeared. There was no noise, no audience, just two souls sharing something they couldn't explain. When the show ended, the crowd gave them a standing ovation. Lisa turned to wave, her smile dazzling. But when she looked back, Jungkook was still watching her with that unreadable expression, half admiration, half something deeper. Outside, a light drizzle began to fall. Lisa tilted her face toward the sky, letting the rain kiss her cheeks. For the first time, she wasn't smiling for the cameras or the crowd. She was smiling for herself, and deep inside, she knew this wasn't the end of their story. The light drizzle outside the studio was a welcome reprieve, a soft curtain drawn over the high-energy buzz of the live show. Lisa tilted her face to the sky, letting the cold kiss of the rain settle the dazzling heat of the stage lights. The applause still echoed in her ears, but for the first time in a long time, the noise felt external, separate from the solid, quiet contentment growing in her chest. She was smiling for herself. Jungkook was the last person out, his assistant holding an umbrella over him. He paused when he saw Lisa standing, eyes closed, in the gentle rain. She looked less like an idol, and more like a person finally breathing. You'll catch a cold, Lisa C., he said, his voice a low rumble, blending with the sound of the rain hitting the pavement. She opened her eyes and turned, her smile soft and genuine. I needed this, she replied, stepping under the umbrella he now held for both of them. The proximity felt natural, unforced, a safe harbor from the watchful world. Thank you for staying grounded today. It helped. He looked down at her, the streetlights reflecting in his dark, calm eyes. It was easy to stay grounded when I saw you finding your feet again. His honesty was a gentle hand on her shoulder, a quiet understanding that didn't demand a response. Lisa's driver, her longtime manager, and the rest of her security detail waited a few feet away. but they maintained a respectful distance, sensing the moment of genuine connection between the two artists. "They're already talking about a third segment," Lisa confided, the words a low whisper just for him. Jungkook chuckled, a warm, melodic sound. "Of course they are. We're suddenly the most uncomplicated story in the industry. People are tired of drama. They want to see two friends be, well, friends." He paused, then added, "But what do you want, Lisa? Don't say yes just because they want to chase ratings." His question went straight to the core of her newfound peace. For months, she had only considered what others wanted from her: the label, the fans, the endorsements. "I want to be around someone who reminds me of kindness," she admitted, her voice barely audible over the rain. "I forgot what that felt like." Jungkook didn't offer empty words of reassurance. He simply nodded, his gaze steady and accepting. "Then you should keep it," he said. "Find it everywhere. But don't forget that you carry a lot of it yourself, Lisa." He gestured to her waiting car. "Get home and get warm. Good night." As she walked away, he watched her until she was safely inside the vehicle. The camera flashes from a distant paparazzo were muted, less aggressive than before. Even the world seemed to be respecting the quiet space they had created. The Sunday call. The next day, a Sunday, Lisa chose to stay in. She traded the high-fashion studio clothes for oversized sweats and a comfy hoodie, a luxury she rarely afforded herself. She was eating takeout and watching a nature documentary when her phone rang. It was an unknown number, but the producer had warned her he might call from his personal line. "Hello? Did I catch you at a bad time, Lisa? See? It's Jungkook." Her heart gave a little flutter, a genuinely surprised, non-performance flutter. "Jungkook? No, not at all. I was just watching something about penguins." She smiled at the sheer normalcy of the conversation. "Penguins? Nice," he replied, a hint of a smile in his voice. "I'm calling because my assistant gave me the producer's details. They've sent over a few ideas for the next show. They want a collaboration piece." Lisa's fingers tightened slightly around her mug. "A collaboration? What kind?" "They're suggesting a music segment. Maybe a cover of an old classic, or a duet we've never done before. Something emotional and deeply rooted in a shared memory." A performance was one thing. A musical collaboration was another. It demanded vulnerability, shared time, and a deep level of trust. The viral dance they did years ago had been pure energy, a spectacle. This would be soul-bearing. "What do you think?" she asked, genuinely needing his perspective. "I think it's a brilliant idea for them," Jungkook said dryly, making her laugh. "For us, it depends. I'll only agree if we choose the song, not them. And only if you're genuinely comfortable. This isn't a career move, Lisa. It's a moment. It needs to be real." "You always prioritize the real," she murmured, a genuine admiration in her tone. "It's the only way to not burn out," he countered simply. "It's why I'm calling you now, instead of waiting for a meeting. If we do this, we need to know what we want to say before the cameras start rolling. Do you have a song in mind?" Lisa thought back to the quiet, lonely months. She thought about the feeling of peace he had brought back. There was one song that had always anchored her, a melancholy but hopeful tune about returning home after a long journey. "I do," she said, her voice clear. "It's a song about finding your way back to yourself. It's a little vulnerable." "Good," he replied instantly. "Vulnerability is the only thing the world can't fake." He paused. "Send me the track. I'll listen to it tonight. If you agree, let's meet tomorrow. Not at the studio. Somewhere quiet. We can talk about the arrangement." "Tomorrow? Where?" "There's a small, old recording studio I use sometimes. It's completely private. I'll send you the address. Don't tell anyone where you're going, not even your manager, until you get there. Just in case." The secrecy, while slightly theatrical, was necessary. Their world was one of leaks and invasive curiosity. "Okay, Jungkook. Tomorrow it is." As she hung up, Lisa realized she hadn't thought about the camera, the fans, or the media once during the entire conversation. She had only thought about the song, the melody, and the quiet man on the other end of the line. The feeling of anticipation was not fear, but pure, creative excitement, a feeling she had sorely missed. The first rehearsal, the address Jungkook sent her, led to a discreet, ivy-covered building nestled on a quiet street far from the bustling entertainment district. Inside, the studio was dimly lit, smelling faintly of old wood and expensive sound equipment. It felt like a cozy, forgotten library, dedicated to music. Jungkook was already there, wearing a simple white t-shirt and black trousers, setting up a microphone. "You found it," he said, looking up with that easy, humble smile that disarmed her every time. "It's beautiful," Lisa replied, removing her light coat. "Like a hidden sanctuary." "It is." "My peace offering to the noise," he said, gesturing to the small control room visible through a glass window. "I've listened to the song. It's perfect. It has that blend of melancholy and quiet hope. It fits your story, Lisa." He had understood. He hadn't questioned the vulnerability of the track. He had simply accepted it as her truth. "I was hoping you'd say that," she admitted. "I feel like, if I'm going to sing again, it needs to mean something." "Then let it," he said, walking over to an acoustic guitar propped in the corner. "I've worked out a simple accompaniment. Just guitar and our two voices. No big production, no spectacle, just the song." He sat on a stool, adjusted the microphone, and began to play. The melody she knew was transformed by his quiet, masterful touch. It was stripped down, raw, and immensely personal. "We'll start with the first verse," he suggested. "I'll take the low harmony, you take the main melody. No pressure, just sing it like you're singing to yourself in your room." Lisa took a deep breath. She had performed for stadiums of people, yet the intimacy of this small room, with only Jungkook watching and listening, felt more demanding than any concert. The road was long, and the light felt gone. She began, her voice initially shaky, a delicate thread of sound. But as Jungkook's steady, warm harmony layered beneath hers, his gaze encouraging, the thread began to weave into something stronger. They sang through the entire song once. When the final chord faded, the silence in the room was profound. It wasn't awkward. It was heavy with the weight of shared emotion. Jungkook lowered his guitar.
"That was incredibly honest, Lisa."
Tears welled in her eyes, surprising her. She quickly wiped them away, embarrassed. "I didn't expect that. It's the first time I've truly sung in months." "I know," he said gently. He walked across the room and handed her a bottle of water. "You've been holding a lot in. Sometimes the music just lets it out." He didn't press her for details about the difficult months. He just offered space. "Let's take a break. We can order some simple food and talk about the arrangement." They ended up spending the entire afternoon there. They didn't just talk about music. They talked about the absurdity of their fame, the challenge of maintaining a private self in a public world, and the quiet things that kept them sane. Lisa's photography, Jungkook's love for painting and simple workouts. They talked about the pressure to be perfect, and how exhausting it was to keep up the facade. "I think that's why I was so drained before," Lisa confessed, sipping her tea. "I was trying to be the perfect Lisa for everyone, and I forgot what the real one sounded like." "The real one laughs easily," Jungkook observed, a small knowing smile playing on his lips. "And the real one has a voice that shouldn't be silent." By the time they packed up, the simple cover song had become an unspoken conversation between them. It wasn't a collaboration for the fans, it was a duet about mutual healing. Chapter 4. The Unscripted Moment. The days leading up to the third broadcast were a blur of secret rehearsals at the small studio, coupled with their regular, punishing solo schedules. The dynamic between them was changing subtly but surely. It was no longer the polite, cautious familiarity of old colleagues. It was the easy, comfortable rhythm of two people who understood the complex machinery of each other's lives. They had a shared language of silence, a nod, a brief glance that conveyed volumes without a single word. Lisa started sending him pictures of the city at dawn she had taken, and Jungkook would reply with a photo of a new piece of art he was working on, or a funny picture of one of the stray cats he fed. Their text messages were simple, personal, and profoundly grounding. The day of the third show arrived, and the atmosphere was different. The audience and the production team had a palpable sense of excitement, an awareness that they were watching something special unfold. As they sat side by side during the first segment, The host, sensing the change, steered the conversation away from their professional careers and toward their personal philosophies. Jungkook si, the host began, leaning forward with a playful glint in his eye. A lot of people have commented on how much lighter Lisa C looks lately. You've had 2 shows together. What's your secret? Are you her new life coach? Jungkook laughed, turning his gaze toward Lisa. His eye contact was always calm and steady, never predatory. I'm not a coach, he said. I think I just remembered that she's a person who shines naturally. My secret is just being a person who doesn't try to dim that light. Lisa felt a warm flush creep up her neck. That's when the camera zoomed in, catching her genuine, unscripted reaction. She turned to Jungkook, her eyes wide with a quiet gratitude, and whispered an almost inaudible, "Thank you." The host, sensing the genuine moment, didn't press. He simply smiled and moved on to the segment everyone was waiting for. Now we have a very special performance tonight, the host announced. A duet collaboration that the artists chose themselves. No big production, no fireworks. Just a simple, sincere song. The stage lights shifted, bathing them in a soft, ethereal blue. Jungkook picked up his acoustic guitar. They stood side by side at a single microphone stand, a setup that screamed intimacy. He strummed the opening chords, and the first gentle notes of the hopeful, vulnerable song filled the studio. Lisa closed her eyes for a moment, letting the familiar ache and release of the melody wash over her. Then, she opened her eyes and began to sing, her voice carrying a fragile strength she hadn't possessed a month ago. The long nights end, the silence breaks, a forgotten song the heart remakes. When Jungkook joined in for the harmony, the blend was flawless. His voice was the anchor, deep and steady, while hers was the soaring sail, lighter and more melodic. They sang the song not as a performance, but as a conversation, their eyes meeting naturally at key emotional moments, the lines about forgiveness, about self-acceptance, about finding a quiet hope. The audience was silent, completely captivated. They weren't seeing 2 of the world's biggest stars. They were seeing 2 people share a moment of sincere vulnerability. As the song reached its emotional peak, Lisa sang the final, most vulnerable line. And now I know where home has been, not lost outside, but deep within. Jungkook's voice trailed off on the final, simple guitar chord. The applause that followed was not the frantic, screaming kind. It was a wave of genuine, heartfelt appreciation. Both artists took a deep breath, the lingering emotion of the song still in the air. As the host approached them for the closing segment, he looked visibly moved. That was truly beautiful, he said. A story told in 3 minutes. The host turned to Jungkook for the final word. Jungkook-si, before we wrap, what is your hope for the future? For both of you? Jungkook looked at Lisa, and his expression was a mix of pride, affection, and protection. He didn't speak to the camera. He spoke directly to her. My hope, he said softly, is that we both continue to choose the real thing. To choose honesty over spectacle, and to choose joy over expectation. He paused, then his eyes returned to the host. And that we both remember this moment, the quiet power of simply being present. Chapter 5. A different kind of date. The next morning, the internet was ablaze. The performance was hailed as an iconic healing duet. Clips of Lisa's emotional singing and Jungkook's protective gaze were trending worldwide. The unscripted, quiet moment where she had whispered, "Thank you," had been dissected, analyzed, and celebrated. They aren't just colleagues, they're kindred spirits, one top comment read. Lisa felt the familiar panic of being too exposed, too seen. But this time, it was balanced by a deep, unwavering sense of rightness. The exposure was her truth, not something manufactured. Her phone rang. It was Jungkook. "Good morning. I see we broke the internet again," he said, his voice light. "It's a lot," Lisa admitted, her voice tight. "The reaction is intense." "I know. Listen, I'm taking a day off tomorrow. No studio, no calls. I'm driving out of the city. I need to be somewhere quiet to paint." "That sounds wonderful," she said wistfully. "Join me." The word hung in the air, heavier than any discussion of choreography or music. This was an invitation that went beyond professional courtesy. "Jungkook, It's not a date, Lisa, he interjected gently, anticipating her hesitation. It's two people who understand the noise, seeking quiet. We'll just paint, listen to music, and eat bad food. No pressure. Complete silence is an option. If you want to talk about penguins for 5 hours, that's also an option. She laughed, the sound warm and genuine. A quiet day. I think I need that more than anything. Good. I'll send you the location. A small, simple house on the coast. No one knows I use it. The coastal sanctuary. Lisa left before dawn, driving her own car, ditching her manager with a fabricated story. The location he sent was a 2-hour drive to a small, isolated cove. The house was exactly as he described. Simple, weather-beaten, and charming, with large windows overlooking the gray-blue expanse of the ocean. Jungkook was already there, setting up 2 easels on the small covered deck. He wore painting clothes, oversized, stained, and utterly unpretentious. "Welcome to the escape hatch," he said, his smile radiating genuine welcome. Lisa spent the entire day in a state of quiet, profound peace. They painted in silence for hours, Jungkook working on an abstract piece of the ocean's turbulence, and Lisa hesitantly painting a small canvas of the simple fishing boats moored in the bay. She hadn't painted since she was a child, but Jungkook's presence made the vulnerability of trying again feel safe. They ate ramen and kimchi for lunch, sitting on the floor, talking about mundane, beautiful things, the best way to cook the perfect egg, the way the light changed on the water, the strange dreams they had the night before. As the sun began to set, casting a deep orange and purple glow over the water, they sat side by side on the deck railing. "Thank you for bringing me here," Lisa said, looking out at the waves. "This is the most peace I've felt since before I saw you again." "The coast has a way of reminding you of scale," Jungkook mused. "All our worries, the fame, the expectations, they look very small against that ocean." Lisa turned to him, the setting sun catching the gold in her hair. "Why did you ask me to come, Jungkook?" she asked, the question direct and honest, the way they both preferred to communicate now. He didn't hesitate. He looked at her, his expression deeply sincere. "Because I recognize the quiet ache in your eyes, Lisa. I've had it too. That feeling of running on an empty tank, trying to perform joy when you can't even remember what it feels like. And when I saw you genuinely laugh in the studio, I realized that I couldn't just walk away and let you forget that feeling again." He reached out, his hand hovering near her shoulder, then gently touching the small silver bracelet on her wrist. "I didn't want you to lose your light again. And truthfully," he admitted, his voice softening, "your presence makes the quiet less lonely for me too." The silence that followed wasn't heavy with expectation, but with the quiet acknowledgement of a deep, mutual understanding. They were 2 highly exposed, incredibly successful people who had found in each other a rare, uncomplicated refuge. "What happens next?" Lisa whispered. The question not about the show, but about them. Jungkook looked out at the ocean, then back at her. "I don't know," he said honestly. "We don't have to label it. We can just be 2 people who are better when they're together. No cameras, no contracts. Just this." He then stood up, shattering the tension with his characteristic ease. "Come on, the sky is completely on fire. We need to go for a walk before the moon takes over." They walked along the deserted beach in comfortable silence, the waves washing away their footprints almost as soon as they made them. The day was perfect, the kind of memory that felt so real it was almost a dream. The light drizzle outside the studio was a welcome reprieve, a soft curtain drawn over the high-energy buzz of the live show. Lisa tilted her face to the sky, letting the cold kiss of the rain settle the dazzling heat of the stage lights. The applause still echoed in her ears. But for the first time in a long time, the noise felt external, separate from the solid, quiet contentment growing in her chest. She was smiling for herself. Jungkook was the last person out, his assistant holding an umbrella over him. He paused when he saw Lisa standing, eyes closed, in the gentle rain. She looked less like an idol, and more like a person finally breathing. "You'll catch a cold, Lisa-see," he said, his voice a low rumble, blending with the sound of the rain hitting the pavement. She opened her eyes and turned, her smile soft and genuine. "I needed this," she replied, stepping under the umbrella he now held for both of them. The proximity felt natural, unforced, a safe harbor from the watchful world. "Thank you for staying grounded today. It helped." He looked down at her, the streetlights reflecting in his dark, calm eyes. "It was easy to stay grounded when I saw you finding your feet again." His honesty was a gentle hand on her shoulder, a quiet understanding that didn't demand a response. Lisa's driver, her longtime manager, and the rest of her security detail waited a few feet away, but they maintained a respectful distance, sensing the moment of genuine connection between the two artists. "They're already talking about a third segment," Lisa confided, the words a low whisper just for him. Jungkook chuckled, a warm, melodic sound. "Of course they are. We're suddenly the most uncomplicated story in the industry. People are tired of drama. They want to see two friends be, well, friends." He paused, then added, "But what do you want, Lisa? Don't say yes just because they want to chase ratings." His question went straight to the core of her newfound peace. For months, she had only considered what others wanted from her. The label, the fans, the endorsements. "I want to be around someone who reminds me of kindness," she admitted, her voice barely audible over the rain. "I forgot what that felt like." Jungkook didn't offer empty words of reassurance. He simply nodded, his gaze steady and accepting. "Then you should keep it," he said. "Find it everywhere. But don't forget that you carry a lot of it yourself, Lisa." He gestured to her waiting car. "Get home and get warm. Good night." As she walked away, he watched her until she was safely inside the V. Baik, saya akan melanjutkan narasi cerita Anda dalam bahasa Inggris, mengembangkan alur hingga mendekati target 10,000 kata. Saya akan fokus pada tantangan yang muncul dari kedekatan mereka, reaksi publik, dan bagaimana mereka menavigasi hubungan yang semakin mendalam di tengah sorotan. Chapter 6. The Echo of a Whisper. The drive back from the coastal sanctuary was filled with a different kind of silence than the one that had settled between them on the way there. It was a comfortable, contented, quiet, punctuated only by the soft hum of Lisa's car engine and the distant rhythm of the ocean. The ramen bowls were empty, the paintbrushes cleaned, and their conversations about insignificant, beautiful things had left a warmth lingering in the air. As Lisa pulled into her complex, the familiar, suffocating feeling of the city's concrete walls didn't quite settle in her chest. Instead, she carried a lightness, a sense of having been truly seen and understood. She sent Jungkook a simple text. "Thank you for today. It was perfect." His reply came almost instantly. "Anytime. Don't forget to breathe, Lisa." That simple instruction resonated deeply. For so long, she had been running on autopilot, performing, pleasing, and forgetting the most basic act of self-preservation. With Jungkook, she could just be. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity, yet underneath it all, a new rhythm had taken hold in Lisa's life. Her solo work was more energized, her public appearances more genuine. The forced smiles were replaced by real ones, and her laughter felt effortless. The change was palpable, not just to her close friends, but to the keen eyes of the public. Online forums buzzed with observations. "Lisa's eyes are shining differently," one fan wrote. "Her energy is magnetic now," another added. The most frequent comments, however, always circled back to Jungkook. "It's like he brought her light back." Their connection is unreal. The producers, of course, capitalized on this. The healing duet had garnered unprecedented views and critical acclaim. The network was eager for more, pitching ideas for a reality series or a joint music project. Lisa and Jungkook, however, remained firm. "We're not a package deal for ratings," Jungkook had told his manager bluntly over a phone call Lisa happened to overhear. "The authenticity is what resonated, and we won't compromise that for a cash grab." Lisa echoed his sentiments to her own team. "We'll consider future collaborations if they align with our artistic integrity, not just for viewership. And absolutely no reality show. Our private lives remain private." Their managers, initially frustrated, eventually recognized the wisdom in their artist's stance. The public was hungry for genuine connection, not manufactured drama. If Lisa and Jungkook kept their interactions organic, the public would continue to crave every unscripted moment. Chapter 7. Unseen Moments. Despite their decision to keep their professional collaborations limited, their personal connection continued to deepen. Their text messages became a daily ritual, a good morning emoji, a shared laugh over a ridiculous headline, a recommendation for a book or a song. Sometimes, they'd send each other photos. Jungkook, a blurry candid of his dog, Bam, curled up on his studio floor. Lisa, a beautifully composed shot of the city skyline at dusk. One rainy afternoon, Lisa was at her agency for a meeting about an upcoming photo shoot. Exhausted, she snuck away to a quiet corner, scrolling through her phone. A text from Jungkook popped up. "Thinking of you. Don't forget to eat your greens." Followed by a photo of a meticulously arranged, vibrant salad he'd clearly just made. She laughed, a soft, private sound. Her manager, Jenny, found her there a moment later. "Who's making you smile like that, Lisa?" Jenny asked, her eyes narrowing playfully. "You look like you've just won the lottery." Lisa quickly tucked her phone away. "Just a friend," she demurred, feeling a blush creep up her cheeks. Jenny, ever perceptive, raised an eyebrow. "A friend who inspires a glow like that? Must be some friend." She paused. Then her tone became serious. "Lisa, the public is fascinated by you and Jungkook. Every interaction is scrutinized. Be careful. They're looking for a narrative." Lisa nodded, the weight of Jenny's words settling on her. "I know. We are. We're just being ourselves." "Sometimes, being yourselves is exactly what scares them," Jenny warned, especially when it feels too real for the industry's comfort. Later that week, Jungkook invited her to an exhibition opening at a small independent gallery. A silent, unannounced appearance. "It's underground," he explained. "Mostly artists, critics, no red carpet. Just good art and quiet conversations." Lisa, craving exactly that, accepted. She wore a simple, elegant black dress, minimal makeup, and let her hair fall naturally. Jungkook met her there, dressed in dark, comfortable clothes, blending seamlessly into the artistic crowd. No grand entrance, no flashes. They moved through the gallery, stopping at pieces that caught their eye, exchanging hushed comments. They discovered a shared love for a particular abstract expressionist, discussing brushstrokes and emotional impact with an intensity usually reserved for their music. It was invigorating, a world away from the manufactured spectacle of their daily lives. As they admired a particularly striking sculpture, a young artist approached them nervously. "Mr. Jeon, Miss Manobon," she stammered. "I'm a huge admirer of your work, both individually and your recent collaboration was truly inspiring." She glanced between them, a shy smile on her face. "The way you found peace on stage, it resonated so deeply." Jungkook smiled kindly. "Thank you. We're just glad it connected with people." Lisa, feeling a rush of gratitude for the sincere compliment, added, "It was an honest moment for us. Art should always be honest." As they left the gallery later that night, slipping unnoticed into the quiet street, Lisa felt a sense of connection, not just to Jungkook, but to a wider, more authentic world. "This was perfect, Jungkook," she said, her voice soft in the night air. "Thank you for bringing me out of my bubble." "My bubble gets lonely sometimes too," he confessed, his gaze lingering on her. "It's good to share the silence." He walked her to her car, and before she got in, he paused. "Lisa," he began, his voice dropping to a low, serious tone. "The media, they're starting to speculate. My company is already asking questions about our relationship status." Lisa felt a familiar knot of anxiety tighten in her stomach. "Mine too," Jenny warned me. "We can't control what they say," he continued, "but we can control what we give them. We have to be smart. We have to be careful. But also," he added, his eyes softening, "we don't have to stop being ourselves. Not if it brings us peace." He didn't explicitly say us, but the implication was clear. He was talking about them, about the quiet, fragile bond they were building. He reached out, not to touch, but to simply gesture towards her. Just be careful, okay? Lisa nodded, a silent promise. You too, Jungkook. Chapter 8. The Media Storm. The next morning, the unseen moments Jungkook had warned her about began to surface. A blurry, grainy photo of them leaving the art gallery appeared on a tabloid website, quickly picked up by major entertainment news outlets. The headline screamed, "Secret date? Lisa and Jungkook spotted together at exclusive art event." The narrative they had tried so hard to avoid was now taking shape, fueled by speculation and sensationalism. Fans were in a frenzy, some celebrating the potential romance, others fiercely protective of their idols, demanding privacy. Lisa's phone exploded with calls from Jennie and her agency's PR team. Jungkook's company released a terse statement about colleagues attending a cultural event, but it did little to quell the storm. "Lisa, this is getting out of hand," Jennie said, her voice strained over the phone. "They're digging. They're looking for any scrap of interaction. We need to be proactive." "Proactive how?" Lisa asked, her voice tight with frustration. "Deny it outright. It just makes us look guilty. We need to be seen doing our individual work, completely separate. No more private meetings for a while. No more art galleries. No more coastal trips," Jennie advised, the last part hinting at information Lisa hadn't shared. Lisa felt a pang of disappointment. The quiet sanctuary they had found was now under siege. Jungkook called her later that day, his voice calm despite the obvious stress. "Did you see it?" "Yeah," she sighed. "It's everywhere. My company wants me to do a solo live stream, something mundane, like cooking to deflect. Show I'm focused on my work, not whatever they're imagining. Mine wants me to post a series of solo dance practice videos," Lisa replied, running a hand through her hair. Heavy on the performance, light on the personal. There was a moment of heavy silence. "It feels like we're being punished for breathing," Lisa said, a hint of bitterness in her voice. "We're being reminded of the rules," Jungkook countered, his tone philosophical. "The unspoken agreement that our lives aren't entirely our own. But," he added, his voice softening, "this doesn't mean it changes anything between us. It just means we're smarter about it." "Smarter how?" Lisa asked, feeling a desperate need for a strategy. "For now, we play by their rules," he explained. "We give them the solo content they want. We prove we're just colleagues through our actions, but we don't stop connecting. We just change the method. We've done it before, Lisa. We survived bigger storms than this." His words, steady and resolute, were a lifeline. They were in this together, navigating a treacherous sea of public perception. Chapter 9. Undercurrents. The next few weeks were a test of their resolve. Lisa immersed herself in dance practice, her movements sharp, precise, and undeniably solo. She posted Instagram stories of herself sweating in the studio, focused and determined. Jungkook, true to his word, hosted a casual live stream where he cooked kimchi stew, answered fan questions about his music, and even showed off his new painting supplies, carefully avoiding any mention of Lisa or their collaborations. The media storm gradually subsided, replaced by new headlines and fresh controversies, but the undercurrent of suspicion remained. Every subtle glance, every shared laugh from their past broadcasts was reanalyzed, reposted, and captioned with speculative theories. Despite the public hiatus, their private communication never stopped. Text messages became more frequent, sometimes just a funny meme to brighten a stressful day, or a short voice note of a new melody Jungkook was working on. They found ways to be present in each other's lives without risking further exposure. One evening, Lisa was feeling particularly overwhelmed. A new solo project was taking up all her time, demanding intense creativity and relentless scheduling. She felt stretched thin, teetering on the edge of her old exhaustion. She stared at her phone, debating whether to text Jungkook. She didn't want to burden him. Just then, her phone buzzed. It was a photo from him. It was a picture of the ocean, taken from his coastal house, bathed in the soft, misty light of dawn. The caption simply read, "Remember this? It's waiting. Breathe." Tears pricked her eyes. He knew. He always knew when she was struggling, even without her saying a word. His intuition, his quiet presence, was an anchor in the chaotic sea of her life. She replied, "I miss the quiet." His response came quickly, "Me too! Just hold on, we'll find it again." That night, Lisa allowed herself a moment of quiet reflection. Their relationship was evolving into something deeper than friendship, more complex than a casual acquaintance. It was a bond built on shared understanding, mutual respect, and a profound sense of safety. They were each other's silent confidants, their unspoken support a powerful force against the pressures of their industry. She wondered what the future held for them. Could this fragile, beautiful connection survive the relentless scrutiny? Or would the spotlight eventually force them to retreat completely? Chapter 10. The Weight of Expectation. A few months passed in a blur of individual activities. Lisa released a new single, a powerful dance track that reaffirmed her status as a global performer. Jungkook embarked on a solo concert tour, selling out arenas worldwide with his raw talent and captivating stage presence. They were both at the peak of their careers, seemingly unaffected by the past rumors. Yet, behind the scenes, the distance weighed on them. Their texts were still frequent, but the spontaneous phone calls and the private retreats had ceased. Both of their agencies were enforcing stricter rules regarding their interactions, monitoring their schedules, and even subtly screening their communications. One evening, after a particularly grueling photo shoot, Lisa received a text from Jungkook. "Congratulations on the single. It's incredible. You shone." It was a professional compliment, appropriate for colleagues, but she craved more. She wanted to tell him how utterly exhausted she was, how much she missed their quiet conversations, how she wished they could just escape to the coast again. She typed out a long, heartfelt reply, then deleted it all. She couldn't risk it, not with the constant watchful eyes. Her reply was brief. "Thanks, Jungkook. Your tour looks amazing too. Stay safe." The polite distance stung. It felt like they were being forced back into the roles they had played before their reunion, cordial, respectful, but ultimately separate. One day, Jenny sat Lisa down for a serious conversation. "Lisa, the new album concept. We need to start thinking about collaborations. Something big, unexpected. Your team is pushing for a duet, not with Jungkook." Lisa's heart sank. "Not with Jungkook?" "No," Jenny confirmed, her expression grim. "The company believes that continuing to associate with him, even professionally, fuels the romance rumors, which could distract from your solo narrative. They want to pair you with a Western artist, something fresh, international." The logic was sound from a business perspective, but it felt like a betrayal to Lisa. The quiet understanding she and Jungkook shared about their music, their desire for authenticity, it was being sacrificed for market strategy. "Who are they suggesting?" Lisa asked, her voice flat. "Several options," Jenny replied, rattling off a list of names. "They're all incredibly talented. Big names. It would be a massive hit." Lisa nodded, numb. She knew this was coming. The industry always found a way to reclaim its artists, to mold their narratives to fit its commercial agenda. But it didn't make it any less painful. Meanwhile, Jungkook was facing similar pressures. His company was pushing for him to participate in a high-profile dating reality show, a concept completely antithetical to his private nature. "It's a strategic move, Jungkook," his manager argued. "It shows you're available, you're engaging with the public, and it completely squashes any lingering speculation about you and Lisa. It's a win-win." Jungkook listened, his jaw tight. The idea of performing a romance for the cameras after having found something so profoundly real with Lisa felt like a desecration. He thought of her radiant smile, her vulnerable voice, the quiet peace they found in each other's company. "I won't do it," he stated, his voice calm but firm. "It goes against everything I stand for. My music, my art, my identity. They're not for sale as a manufactured love story." His manager sighed. "Jungkook, you're a global phenomenon. Your brand image is crucial. We need to be careful. You can't just disappear into your studio and expect the world to forget you." "I'm not asking them to forget me," Jungkook retorted. I'm asking them to respect my privacy, and for my company to respect my artistic integrity. The conversation escalated into a tense argument. Jungkook felt a deep sense of frustration, a feeling of being suffocated by the very machine that had made him famous. He knew Lisa was facing similar battles, fighting against the tide of public and corporate expectations. He longed to talk to her, to share his frustrations, to find comfort in her understanding, but he knew he couldn't. The walls were up, higher and thicker than ever before. Chapter E. The Breaking Point. The pressure mounted for both Lisa and Jungkook. Lisa began recording her new duet with a celebrated Western artist. The collaboration was musically strong, undeniably a hit, but it felt hollow to her. There was no shared vulnerability, no quiet understanding. Just two professionals executing a well-crafted song. Every time she sang her parts, she heard Jungkook's voice in her head, the way he would have harmonized, the emotion he would have infused. Jungkook, facing relentless pressure, finally agreed to appear on a variety show, but only on the condition that it focused on his artistic process and philanthropy, strictly avoiding any personal relationship discussions. It was a compromise, but one he resented. He felt himself pulling away, retreating deeper into his art, his quiet world shrinking under the weight of external demands. Their texts became sparser, more formal. The unspoken language of their connection, once so fluid, was now strained, fragmented by distance and the fear of exposure. The safe place they had built for each other felt miles away. One evening, Lisa was browsing social media, feeling a profound sense of loneliness despite her recent professional success. She saw a clip from Jungkook's recent variety show appearance. He looked handsome, articulate, charming, everything the public expected. But his eyes, to Lisa's perceptive gaze, held a subtle weariness, a hint of the quiet ache she knew so well. He was performing, even when he wasn't singing. A sudden, sharp pang of longing hit her. She missed him. Not the global star, but the quiet man who painted seascapes and understood her unspoken struggles. The man who reminded her to breathe. Without thinking, she picked up her phone and called him. It was late, past midnight in his time zone. She expected it to go straight to voicemail, but after a few rings, he answered. Lisa? His voice was low, rough with sleep. Jungkook, I'm sorry. It's late. I shouldn't have called. No. He interrupted, his voice softening. It's okay. I'm glad you called. I was just thinking. About what? She whispered, her heart pounding. About the coast, he admitted, his voice laced with a wistful longing. About the quiet. About everything. A lump formed in Lisa's throat. Me too, she confessed, the dam of her carefully constructed composure finally breaking. I miss it. I miss us. The admission hung in the air, heavy and fragile. It was the first time either of them had acknowledged the true depth of their bond. Lisa, Jungkook said, his voice now fully awake, filled with a raw honesty. This distance, it's killing me. This forced separation, it's not right. I know, she replied, tears now freely falling. They're trying to erase us, aren't they? To make us just colleagues again. They can try, he stated, his voice hardening with resolve. But they can't erase what's real. Not from us, not from the fans who saw it. He paused. Then his voice dropped to a conspiratorial whisper. I need to see you, Lisa. Not for a work meeting. Not for a performance. Just to talk. Really talk. Lisa wiped her tears. How? They're watching us like hawks. I have an idea, he said, a spark of defiance in his voice. It's risky, but I think it's the only way. Chapter 12. The Defiance. Jungkook's plan was audacious, bordering on reckless. He proposed a clandestine meeting, not in Korea, but in a neutral country where they both had scheduled separate solo activities within the same week. It would require careful timing, elaborate alibis, and the absolute trust that neither of their teams would uncover their secret. Lisa, despite the fear gripping her, felt a thrill of rebellion. She was tired of being controlled, tired of sacrificing her authentic self for corporate narratives. She agreed. The journey was fraught with anxiety. Lisa flew to her destination first, ensuring her schedule was meticulously followed, giving no one reason to suspect her true intentions. Days later, Jungkook arrived, his own team equally oblivious. The meeting point was a small, inconspicuous cafe in a bustling European city, chosen for its anonymity and the constant flow of tourists. Lisa arrived first, wearing a discreet hat and sunglasses, blending into the crowd. Her heart hammered against her ribs. What if he didn't come? What if they were caught? Then she saw him. He was seated in a corner booth, equally disguised, nursing a cup of coffee. Their eyes met, and in that instant, all the distance, all the manufactured separation, evaporated. His familiar, calm gaze was a balm to her weary soul. He stood, and for a moment, they simply stared at each other, a silent acknowledgement of all they had endured. He gestured to the seat opposite him. "You came," he said, his voice a low, husky whisper. "You asked," she replied, her voice a little shaky. They ordered in hushed tones, their conversation initially cautious, filled with the trivialities of their separate schedules. But as the coffee grew cold, the dam broke. Lisa poured out her frustrations, the forced collaboration, the loneliness, the feeling of being a puppet in her own life. Jungkook listened, his expression somber, his hand reaching across the table to gently cover hers. The simple touch was electrifying, a confirmation of their unspoken bond. Then, it was his turn. He spoke of the pressure to join the dating show, his fierce refusal, the arguments with his company, and the profound sense of isolation. "It feels like they want to carve out the part of us that's real," he said, his voice raw with emotion. "The part that connects. They want us to be these perfect, unattainable idols, devoid of human connection, especially to each other. But we are human," Lisa whispered, her eyes brimming with tears. "And we found something real, something that helps us breathe." Jungkook squeezed her hand. "Then we protect it," he stated, his voice firm. "We protect this. Whatever this is, Lisa, we don't let them take it from us." "How?" she asked, looking desperate. "How do we protect it when the entire world is watching, waiting to tear it apart?" He looked at her, a fierce determination in his eyes. "We fight for it. We fight for our peace. And we do it together." Baik, saya akan melanjutkan narasi cerita Anda dalam bahasa Inggris, mengembangkan alur hingga mendekati target 10,000 kata. Saya akan fokus pada tantangan yang muncul dari kedekatan mereka, reaksi publik, dan bagaimana mereka menavigasi hubungan yang semakin mendalam di tengah sorotan. Chapter 6. The Echo of a Whisper. The drive back from the coastal sanctuary was filled with a different kind of silence than the one that had settled between them on the way there. It was a comfortable, contented quiet, punctuated only by the soft hum of Lisa's car engine and the distant rhythm of the ocean. The ramen bowls were empty, the paintbrushes cleaned, and their conversations about insignificant, beautiful things had left a warmth lingering in the air. As Lisa pulled into her complex, the familiar, suffocating feeling of the city's concrete walls didn't quite settle in her chest. Instead, she carried a lightness, a sense of having been truly seen and understood. She sent Jungkook a simple text. "Thank you for today. It was perfect." His reply came almost instantly. "Anytime. Don't forget to breathe, Lisa." That simple instruction resonated deeply. For so long, she had been running on autopilot, performing, pleasing, and forgetting the most basic act of self-preservation. With Jungkook, she could just be. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of activity. Yet underneath it all, a new rhythm had taken hold in Lisa's life. Her solo work was more energized, her public appearances more genuine. The forced smiles were replaced by real ones, and her laughter felt effortless. The change was palpable, not just to her close friends, but to the keen eyes of the public. Online forums buzzed with observations. "Lisa's eyes are shining differently," one fan wrote. "Her energy is magnetic now," another added. The most frequent comments, however, always circled back to Jungkook. "It's like he brought her light back." Their connection is unreal. The producers, of course, capitalized on this. The healing duet had garnered unprecedented views and critical acclaim. The network was eager for more, pitching ideas for a reality series or a joint music project. Lisa and Jungkook, however, remained firm. We're not a package deal for ratings. Jungkook had told his manager bluntly over a phone call Lisa happened to overhear. The authenticity is what resonated, and we won't compromise that for a cash grab. Lisa echoed his sentiments to her own team. We'll consider future collaborations if they align with our artistic integrity, not just for viewership, and absolutely no reality show. Our private lives remain private. Their managers, initially frustrated, eventually recognized the wisdom in their artist's stance. The public was hungry for genuine connection, not manufactured drama. If Lisa and Jungkook kept their interactions organic, the public would continue to crave every unscripted moment. Chapter 7. Unseen Moments. Despite their decision to keep their professional collaborations limited, their personal connection continued to deepen. Their text messages became a daily ritual, a good morning emoji, a shared laugh over a ridiculous headline, a recommendation for a book or a song. Sometimes, they'd send each other photos. Jungkook, a blurry candid of his dog, Bam, curled up on his studio floor. Lisa, a beautifully composed shot of the city's skyline at dusk. One rainy afternoon, Lisa was at her agency for a meeting about an upcoming photo shoot. Exhausted, she snuck away to a quiet corner, scrolling through her phone. A text from Jungkook popped up. "Thinking of you. Don't forget to eat your greens." Followed by a photo of a meticulously arranged, vibrant salad he'd clearly just made. She laughed, a soft, private sound. Her manager, Jenny, found her there a moment later. "Who's making you smile like that, Lisa?" Jenny asked, her eyes narrowing playfully. "You look like you've just won the lottery." Lisa quickly tucked her phone away. "Just a friend," she demurred, feeling a blush creep up her cheeks. Jenny, ever perceptive, raised an eyebrow. "A friend who inspires a glow like that? Must be some friend." She paused, then her tone became serious. "Lisa, the public is fascinated by you and Jungkook. Every interaction is scrutinized. Be careful. They're looking for a narrative." Lisa nodded, the weight of Jenny's words settling on her. "I know we are. We're just being ourselves. Sometimes, being yourselves is exactly what scares them," Jenny warned, "especially when it feels too real for the industry's comfort." Later that week, Jungkook invited her to an exhibition opening at a small independent gallery, a silent, unannounced appearance. "It's underground," he explained. "Mostly artists, critics, no red carpet, just good art and quiet conversations." Lisa, craving exactly that, accepted. She wore a simple, elegant black dress, minimal makeup, and let her hair fall naturally. Jungkook met her there, dressed in dark, comfortable clothes, blending seamlessly into the artistic crowd. No grand entrance, no flashes. They moved through the gallery, stopping at pieces that caught their eye, exchanging hushed comments. They discovered a shared love for a particular abstract expressionist, discussing brushstrokes and emotional impact with an intensity usually reserved for their music. It was invigorating, a world away from the manufactured spectacle of their daily lives. As they admired a particularly striking sculpture, a young artist approached them nervously. "Mr. Jeon, Miss Manoban," she stammered. "I'm a huge admirer of your work, both individually and your recent collaboration was truly inspiring." She glanced between them, a shy smile on her face. "The way you found peace on stage. It resonated so deeply." Jungkook smiled kindly. "Thank you. We're just glad it connected with people." Lisa, feeling a rush of gratitude for the sincere compliment, added, "It was an honest moment for us. Art should always be honest." As they left the gallery later that night, slipping unnoticed into the quiet street, Lisa felt a sense of connection not just to Jungkook, but to a wider, more authentic world. "This was perfect, Jungkook," she said, her voice soft in the night air. "Thank you for bringing me out of my bubble." "My bubble gets lonely sometimes too," he confessed, his gaze lingering on her. "It's good to share the silence." He walked her to her car, and before she got in, he paused. "Lisa," he began, his voice dropping to a low, serious tone. "The media, they're starting to speculate. My company is already asking questions about our relationship status. Lisa felt a familiar knot of anxiety tighten in her stomach. Mine too. Jenny warned me. We can't control what they say, he continued. But we can.